Hi Libra, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your July 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what will be in front of us, take out the cross spread as always, and I'll also pull the 4 agreements, wisdom, the oracle, and mudra card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling over the astrology that's in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright. So we have Leo, and Leo is actually your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. There's going to be tons of energy going on there. We have Mars there. Venus will actually start a retrograde cycle there. Mercury will be there for a bit. And then, of course, as we get toward the end of the month, we'll also have the Sun move into Leo. So plenty of energy going on in that area of life, you guys, for sure. All right, 5. So 5th house energy for you guys is Aquarius. Astrologically speaking, there's not really anything going on there. We had Pluto there recently, but it retrograded back into Capricorn. But in general, 5th house points to romance, creativity, children, and there will be a full moon in Aquarius at the very beginning of August. So maybe you guys will start to feel that a little early. And we have Jupiter. So Jupiter is actually in Taurus, which is your 8th house of death, rebirth, investments, intimacy, and yeah, I mean, that's not much to add with that, but I'm trying to think if it's going to be making any major aspects this month, but I don't think it is. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have Death, Scorpio energy, and then challenging that, we have the King of Swords. So I feel like this is saying you might have to leave something behind this month, and the challenge there could be if you actually don't want it to go, then you might have to tap into your creativity to figure out a way that you could keep it around. So, given that this is Scorpio energy, which for you guys represents your 2nd house of possession, self-worth, and finances, I think your reading last month was about cutting expenses. So let's say it's a continuation of that, right? And maybe you've cut some expenses and you're like, oh, there are these things here that I really don't want to, let go of. And it could just be saying, well, if that's the key, you might have to tap into your creativity to figure out, okay, well, is there a way that you could keep those things around, right? So, but of course, it does say that it would be a bit of a challenge for you guys this month. So, if that's the case, could just be saying that when we get to that full moon at the very beginning of August, that might help clear that energy up for you guys somewhat. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 10 of Cups. So this is Pisces energy here, and for you guys, that actually represents your 6th house of work, daily routines, health. So, for example, let's just say if this is a financial thing, right? Let's say it's your work. So maybe what you do for a living doesn't pay what you would like, right? Or maybe what it did pay was fine at one point, but obviously, as we know, the cost of everything has just been going up and up and up lately, right? So it could just be one of those things where like, all right, I enjoy doing this work, but as the expenses of everything around me keeps going up, it's not really practical to keep doing it, right? So that could be where you're finding that struggle there. Like, okay, this makes me happy, but it's not necessarily bringing the tangible results that I need. All right, in the past position, we have the Ace of Wands. So usually this could represent an idea coming through as far as taking action on something, usually something that you would be passionate about as well. So given that the sword from the King of Swords is pointing right toward that, that could just be saying that maybe that'll be part of the key to the creative way you could keep something around if you're not ready to let it go, right? So maybe you had a creative idea in the past and maybe you never acted on it, but it could just be saying that could actually be the key for you to keep something around if you'd like to. All right. Present position, we have the 2 of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here. And yeah, this could just be representing the push-pull dynamic that you're feeling, right? Where, like I said, you might be looking at the, okay, so again, going back to like a work dynamic, right, with finances, where you're like, okay, I really love doing this job, but it's not necessarily paying me what I'd like. And then, okay, I have this other option over here that would pay me what I'd like, but I don't really have a connection to it emotionally, right? It wouldn't necessarily excite me. So you could just be trying to weigh those options, like what should I do there, right? Or again, like I said, if you're still trying to pare down expenses, you could be looking at, okay, I really don't want to let this go. I don't want to let this go either, right? So is there a way I could keep both? Trying to figure out those types of things. Like I said, it looks like the key would be to tap into your creativity this month to figure that out. All right, and then your future position, we have the Three of Swords. So this is actually a Libra card here, and it could just be saying that for some of you might actually feel a little bit like giving up around the situation, right? So you could feel like you might reach a point of frustration with the situation. Now, given that fifth house energy does point to creativity and you had Pluto in there, what I will say is given that it recently retrograded back into Capricorn, if you got an idea that came through around that time while Pluto was in Aquarius initially, then that actually might be something worth revisiting as far as that might be the key to, like I said, if you had some idea that came up around then you're like, oh, I don't know if it's too practical, it might be a good time to revisit that. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Six of Swords. So this is actually Aquarius energy here again as well. And I feel like this could just be saying that the key might be for you to actually just get away from your regular environment, right? So take a little bit of distance and really think things through. So, maybe connect with nature and just see if some ideas come to you at that point. All right, in the environment position, we have the moon. So, this could just be pointing to what's potentially impacting you as well, right? Because as far as this month goes, we're going to have the full moon in Capricorn early in July, and then a little bit past the midpoint in the month, we're going to have a new moon in Cancer. So those are both cardinal energies like you, but they're going to make square aspects with your placements. So it could just be one of those things where you're feeling like this energy beneath the surface really pulling at you. So that could be what's going on with that. And then, like I said, at the very beginning of August, we will have that full moon in Aquarius. And given that we're seeing quite a bit of Aquarius energy, that could be an important lunar cycle for you guys as well. All right, in hopes or fears position, we have the Nine of Cups. So Pisces energy here again, and it could just be saying for a lot of you this is a hope, right? Where maybe you're just hoping to feel a sense of contentment, right? So maybe part of you knows that some of the things you're holding on to, maybe they're not too practical, right? So maybe there's a part of you that's like, you know what, I wish I could be happy with what I do have, right? Instead of constantly wanting to go after the next big thing. But that's what I see with that. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here. Usually represents holding on to things, right? Long-standing growth, stability. And given that for you guys, that's fourth house energy. For some of you, could just be saying that the key to what you're looking for could also be within your home environment too. So super generic example, let's say if you always go to an office for work every day, and within the process of that, you go to Starbucks or you, get expensive lunches and things along those lines. But then you might figure out, well, what if I were able to negotiate working from home, right? Then I wouldn't have to always go out and do that, and that would cut my expenses, right? And then plus I wouldn't have to commute, things along those lines, right? So you might just find a creative way like that, where you're like, okay, that automatically alone could cut my expenses, but at the same time, I'd still be bringing in the same income I'm bringing in, things along those lines, right? But yeah, if nothing else, like I said, it could just be that maybe the key to what you're looking for could be within your home environment as well. So, maybe just taking the time to relax in that environment could actually bring some creative ideas to you as well. All right, and bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. So this is actually a Cancer energy here. So for some of you, maybe as soon as we hit Cancer season, you might actually start to feel like you might have a meeting of the minds with someone. And maybe that would be the key too, right? Through discussing it with someone, possibly someone close to you, given that we see some home environment energies coming up. Could just be saying that through those conversations, you might actually have an idea that comes through. So it might even be just through you discussing it. It's not necessarily that the other person would give you the idea, but maybe just going through that dialogue, an idea might strike you. So That could be an important turning point for you guys this month too. All right, moving on to your 4 agreements card. We have don't take anything personally, and it says see other people as they are. Okay, it says when you see other people as they are without taking it personally, you can never be hurt by what they say or do. Even if others lie to you, it is okay. They are lying to you because they are afraid you will discover that they are not perfect. Interesting message there, because I did mention how when we saw this Leo energy come up in your dice, there's going to be a ton of energy in that house for you, which represents your friendships, groups, like I said. So if there is some kind of disappointment around a friendship, right, especially with the Venus retrograde cycle happening there, hopefully that resonates with you in that regard. All right, and for your Wisdom of the Oracle card, we have 2 to see. There's the artwork and the number 7, and this definitely looks in some ways similar to the 6 of Swords. So yeah, maybe this is just going to be the key for you guys. Like I said, maybe just getting out in nature for a bit. And that might bring some creative ideas to you. All right, essential meanings says being in flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together, a natural pattern of events. The Oracle's message: isn't it wonderful when you feel yourself in the flow of life, when events and conditions seem to engage you in a way that is fluid and effortless? This card reminds you that going with the flow is exactly what you need to do right now. Ride the wave of opportunity formed by perfect conditions. Allow trust and faith to guide you forward as you flow like a river into the sea of life. So yeah, definitely a positive message there, especially like I said, if you guys feel like you're having to let something go, but you're not necessarily ready to, right? Maybe that'll help as far as just taking a more natural approach to things and letting things flow. All right, the relationship message says there are points in a relationship when you have to decide to go with the flow rather than dictate the course you share with another. Can you let go of the need to have things your way and allow the relationship itself, your combined goals and desires, to steer the ship? Can you both transcend your personalities and allow the partnership to form its own identity, its own energy? Now's the time to relax and see where this mutual journey leads. So yeah, interesting message there, because this didn't hit as necessarily a big romantic reading type of connection, or rather romantic connection type of reading, but with the Death card there, and given that that is being challenged by King of Swords energy, which is 5th house, romance, creativity, dating, could just be saying that maybe if you have had a tendency, right, to only want things a certain way, it could just be saying that that could be what's challenging that area of life for you guys. So that could be what that message is pointing to, saying that, maybe you have to loosen up in some ways around that, and that could improve things for you. All right, the prosperity message says everything seems to work out when you stop scrambling and allow the sea of opportunities to wash over you and wake you up to your most prosperous potential. To get into that flow, you need to address your beliefs about abundance and money. The true meaning of your personal currency lies in your skills, your talents and abilities, and most importantly, your core beliefs. Everything flows from your inner world and is reflected in the outer world. When grateful to serve, you align your prosperity consciousness with a higher consciousness. You can expect miracles. Everything you need will come to you easily. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, right? Especially if, for example, let's say you had some long-standing beliefs around finances and how to acquire them, right? And what it means and how much you need and things along those lines. And maybe you might have thought that you'd shed some of those things with Pluto leaving your 4th house, and now that it's back in there, you might feel those things coming back up to the surface again for you to look at. But hopefully that resonated. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. This is your mudra here. It's the Hamsi mudra. The keyword for it is illumination. All right, there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says removes obstacles in one's life, eases depression and sadness, evokes feelings of lightness and laughter, benefits the lungs and large intestine, improves assimilation of nutrients, and elimination of waste. So if that sounds like a mudra I think can be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.